My way, or the highway, and in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Gallop Out. Jackson, as usual, with his laugh as we start the show because you had to take a look at Mixto after winning.
I just always forget. Like, it just surprises me every single time. Like, why is that the banner horse? I don't.
Because that's going to be the banner because that is still to this day just the most shocking result of a race that I've seen live because that made no sense. And it's awesome, especially considering Mixto then went on to run second in the Saudi Cup, Dubai World Cup. I should probably know which one. Dubai World Cup. Anyway, already off topic, and we're not even a minute and 30 seconds into the show, but I'm Ryan. This is my co-host, Jackson, as usual. Welcome back to the Gallop Out. We're going to be going through the Southwest Day card at Oaklawn, the late pick 5, races 8 through 12. Jackson, it's a fantastic sequence. Oaklawn back running. Obviously, weather around the country has been everything, every part of a headache, I think would be the easiest way to say it, except out here in Southern California and out in, I guess, South Florida. But I heard even Tampa got a little bit of snow. Either way, I think it's supposed to be sunny and 70s at Oaklawn Park this weekend. They kick off their week of racing tomorrow, Thursday, and they go through the weekend. It's going to be good to be back at Hot Springs, Arkansas. Jackson, you and I aren't going to make it out there for the Southwest Challenge, but we are going to be able to cover a good section of those races. There's too many runners to even count. And of course, to help us along this difficult pick 5 sequence, we're joined by racetrack announcer out at Oaklawn Park and excellent handicapper who surprised us out at Santa Anita during the winter break at Oaklawn. It's Matt Dinerman. Matt, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm good. I can't stay away, I guess. Going to Santa Anita, going to Gulfstream. We are having fun, and I don't want to give myself too much credit, but I did help bring in that Florida, California winter weather here, at least for this week.
It seems like it. Yeah, we're happy to see that Oaklawn's going to be, sunny, and I think you said 70s even this week. That's going to be fantastic for racing. Going to be, night and day difference, I would imagine, from a couple weeks ago when you got back there. But Matt, first, before we jump into this sequence, go ahead and let everybody know about the betting challenge you guys have coming up this weekend. Obviously postponed a little bit, but you guys are still firing for Friday, Saturday.
We're really excited about bringing contests back to Oaklawn Park. We've had Oaklawn handicapping contests in the past, actually, before I was here, but we haven't had them in a little while, and we're bringing something back here. I think it's going to get good reception. It sounds like we've got plenty of entries, and even though there's a rescheduling of race dates for the Southwest week, these two contests, they're two different ones, plenty of people still coming on track, which is great to hear. We've got two contests, two different ones on 2 different days. The first is this coming Friday. In a couple days, the Southwest Showdown. And then on Saturday, we have the Oaklawn Horse Players Championship Challenge. Now, the Southwest Day, 12 races there. That's on the Friday. And then on Saturday, we've got 11 races. Not only can you win cash prizes, but you can also win seats to the NHC, the BCBC, the Kentucky Derby Betting Challenge, and more. Go to oaklawn.com for more information. You can also play online. In the very beginning, when we first made this contest, it was a handicapping on-track only contest. That has changed. You can play on Twin Spires, Express Bet, or Keeneland Select. Down the road in future handicapping contests, we are looking to expand that and be able to play this contest on even more ADWs. For now, though, those are the 3. Again, Express Bet, Twin Spires, and Keeneland Select.
That's fantastic. That was news, I think, even to me, being able to play this online. That's going to be fantastic. Should up the participation. And you guys have an astounding week back at racing, or back at Hot Springs with this weekend of racing. The sequence that we're going to be going through, full fields and literally every race, or oversubscribed fields even. It's Jackson texted me his picks before the sequence with the follow-up impossible sequence. Jackson, I'll go to you first. Your thoughts here. Obviously impossible.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm not able to play the contest anymore this week. I just have other things going on. But as I was going through this card, I'm just like, I have no idea where I would have even gone. I mean, it's every single race I'm going through. I'm like, okay, this horse can win. This horse can win. This horse can win. That horse won't surprise me. I mean, these races are just unbelievably competitive. They came up phenomenal. And Matt, you even told us, you promised it was going to happen. You delivered, man. It's some good racing this week.
Really good racing. A lot of people ready to run. It'll be interesting to see. I think most people are going to stay in the entry box. Maybe you get a few that scratch just because they haven't been on the track in a while. We're getting horses back on the track, but there was about an 8-9 day stretch where the weather just really kept every horse off the track, and they had to stay in the shed row. And we also have an equicizer wheel that horses can go on. So the training has been disrupted a little bit, but I would imagine most people are going to stay in and run. And hey, if you have a fit horse, usually 7-8 days, although it's not normal by any stretch of the imagination, I personally believe it's like a human. You're probably fine. I mean, you're probably going to keep your fitness for the most part. You might be 98, 95% at worst, but 100% fitness, I'm sure plenty of them still have plenty of fitness.
Yeah, I would imagine so. As long as they didn't go on a peppermint candy binge, I'd imagine they'd be still fit and ready to go. Jackson, real quick before we dive into the sequence, I think you might be talking to a dog real quick. But when he's back with us, it's okay. I do the same. I got cats running around here. But Jackson, before we get into the handicapping of this late pick 5, if you're a player in the betting challenge going on either on Southwest Day, which this sequence again, next to impossible with how full these fields are, how competitive the race is. How do you anticipate the totals being? Do you think this is more of a high total where people are going to be taking some random stabs and maybe hit for, boxcar payouts? Or do you think maybe it's going to be a little bit lower? And then the second part of the question, how would you approach a tournament like this?
We're talking about Friday specifically, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's going to be a little different because if I'm not mistaken, on Friday, there are NHC seats on the line as well as seats for the Saturday contest. So when that happens, you're going to have two tiers of players. You have players that are playing for the NHC. They're going to have to win the Friday contest to win those NHC seats. Then you have players that are playing for the Saturday seats, the ones that are not playing for the win necessarily, but are playing for 5th, 6th, whatever it may be. I haven't looked at the breakdown of that contest. So it's going to be, the winners are going to typically in these things are around 10x is the general guideline. You could have to go and adjust from there once you get closer and closer to the end of these races. Usually these things are won in the last race. They're typically everyone's firing the last race and everyone kind of easing in. You'll see some people, a good chunk of people will play very heavily early on, but typically most people will focus on the last race. And that's kind of where you want to start. And you want to work backwards from there, because if you have an opinion in the last race, you don't need to do too much until you get there. You kind of just hang around, and then you fire. If you don't like the last race, well, then you need to find something else earlier on and work your way backwards from there. And even if you do like the last race, let's say you like the favorite in there. Well, if you can't just bet the favorite to win at 9-5, you got to do something else before that. So it's all about setting yourself up to get to a number that you think will be good enough to win. And as you get closer and closer to the final end of the day, you're going to be adjusting that number based on what the leaderboard dictates.
Excellent analysis there. Always good to hear your thoughts and insights. I know you won't be able to play in the contest as originally planned this weekend. You have other things going on, and I'm sure we'll find out sooner or later, whatever that might be. But let's go ahead and dive into this sequence now. We're going to start with race number 8 as we're covering the late pick 5. Picks are up on the screen. I'm going 7-1. Jackson going 8-6. Matt is going 5-8. We are going 9 furlongs in the General MacArthur Stakes, a restricted stakes for 4-year-olds and upwards, going 9 furlongs for horses that have non-winners of a sweepstakes in their racing career other than restricted or state bred, I believe is the condition. So immediately all of us are all over the place with different picks. Kind of lends itself to the competitiveness of this sequence. Matt, you are our guest. We're going to start with you with the number 5, Sir Greyland, trained by Kenny McPeak, ridden by Brian Hernandez. I can see he's cross-entered in here, but I imagine this is the target spot for him.
He scratched.
He scratched.
Yeah, so I saw on the scratch board that he was scratched, but then I heard from somebody else today that's not 100%, and I was like, well, he's on the scratch board. So I am assuming he's going to scratch. He is cross-entered for Saturday to actually run against Sandman in a dated allowance race, which is a very good race, by the way. I'm actually a little surprised by this move. I figure that they keep him in the stake race, but they're putting him in the allowance instead. So if that is the case, if for some reason there's an error there, and he runs, he's my top pick. I think he's the best horse, and I think he would win. But Energize, I basically scratch into him. Jackson's top pick. I think this horse is very versatile. It's funny because I watch all the Oaklawn workout videos on oaklawn.com. We have plenty of workout videos there. And this was a horse that was a big-time check mark before his first race. And clearly he just doesn't want to sprint, but he always worked like a good horse. So I'm happy to see that he's really found a good stride here for Mike Stidham. I thought his last race wasn't bad. He made I thought a premature move to the lead, not the top of the lane, but he sort of made a premature move to come and get towards the front around the far turn and then sort of flattened out a little bit. Finished behind Anagata, who we saw come back to win the John Connolly on the grass at Sam Houston, their big turf route there. And Final Gambit, obviously a horse that loves synthetic and loves turfway. So I thought Energize ran a really formful race there, and I think he can win. I think he's a pretty decent horse. 8-1. We're not going to get that if Sir Grayland scratches. Do I think he should be 5-2, 3-1? That would be an underlay. I'm hoping for something like 9-2. But he is my pick in here. And I also happen to believe that he finishes a little bit better on dirt too. So we'll keep that in mind.
You brought up an excellent point, many excellent points there. One that I want to focus on towards the end and then go to Jackson, as Jackson picked Energize on top as well. Jackson, I think you and I did a Turfway preview show and covered this race. If not, we talked about it offline, where I certainly centered a lot of my play around this race and around this horse in the last Hurrah Stakes. Do you think that effort on the synthetic, obviously a lower buyer, went off Lasix for that? And I agree with Matt, made a little bit of a premature move, just after they turned for home to try and get up towards the front there. What are your thoughts on that last race? And then do you also think this is a better dirt horse in terms of his finishing and in terms of his overall talent?
I thought he ran fine in that race. And I know he maybe moved a tad too soon, but honestly, I think he just got beat. And the fact that they immediately ship him away from the synthetic kind of tells me that they don't think it was the trip that got him beat. They just don't think he liked the synthetic as much as he liked the dirt. So that's, they're coming out to Oaklawn for a lot of money, and it's not like they entered an easy spot. I mean, they're being pretty ambitious with them, which I like to see off of a race like that. And for this horse specifically, and really this whole race, there's just not a lot of speed as you go through the field. It's really difficult to decide who's going to be leading this charge in the first turn. And maybe it's the one on the inside of the long shot. Maybe it's the 6 Tap Into This, I believe is the name, or Gun Party, excuse me. Gun Party is a horse that has been forward in the past, but wasn't last time. But I don't think Energize is going to be too far out of it. I think Louis Size is going to be pretty aggressive with him. He's going to look at the rest of the field and see there's not much in here. He's going to go forward, and he's going to get the jump on the deeper closers. And if he runs back to that race at Churchill Downs, he's going to be very tough to beat. And as Matt said, hoping for around 4-1, 9-2. I think that'd be a pretty good price on him.
Yeah, I would think so as well. I don't disagree with anything you said. If we had top 3 picks, Energize would be my third. But since we only went with our top 2, I did end up leaving him out. I'll talk quickly about my top pick, the number 7, MacMan. I like the last out effort. I know didn't quite finish that race off, but I do think Rattle and Roll and Willie D's are head and shoulders above a lot of this group. I think Rattle and Roll would certainly be favored in this field, in my opinion. If not, he'd be vying for favoritism. And Willie D's has certainly a lot of early gas to him, and that can give him an advantage. So I wanted to give a shout to MacMan. I didn't hate that last effort. I thought the effort 3-bet going the mile in a 16th. Obviously, I'll excuse the wet track effort, as he's now 0-2 over the sloppy track, where he's basically been a non-factor. So assuming we get a fast track, which it sounds like we will, on Friday at Oaklawn Park, I thought the number 7 MacMan could certainly factor. I think this is one that's going to be forward or at least tactical early and can finish off those races nicely. So I wanted to give him a shot in a race that, Jackson, you pointed out, doesn't have a whole lot of early speed or speed in general to it. You mentioned number 1, American Law, as a horse that could be forward. I like this horse's efforts at Oaklawn Park. Seems to really love the ground out there. And that last time effort, winning by a neck with Christian Torres aboard, seemed to really kind of solidify that, even though these are kind of low-level connections with Sarah Schaefer, American Law certainly fired a really strong effort for Flying P stable, and they have some really nice horses, obviously, in that stable. So I want to give this one a shot to hit the board. I'll be using on a couple tickets, but I think, with that last effort being such a standout, I don't want to trust it a whole lot, but I do think this runner really fires at Oaklawn. Jackson, I'll go to you to talk about the number 6 Gun Party before we move on to the next leg of this late pick 5 sequence.
Yeah, I think with him, the hope is he can refine that speed that he showed this summer at Churchill and Saratoga, because he was really good when he was getting forwardly placed. And then he just has kind of gotten away from that in his last couple starts, which is a little concerning. Sometimes that can be a sign of a horse that is going off form, especially last time. It's not like that pace on that January 4th race was that quick, and he just wasn't able to keep up with those horses early on. So that was the concern for me in this spot. But if he is able to reverse form and get back to those races from the summer, I don't see any reason why he can't be pretty competitive.
Yeah, Gun Party, $1.7 million. Feels like he's still kind of itching for that stakes win. Maybe Joel can get him forwardly placed. Maybe they can get the job done in here, because he does have some back races to go to. But Jackson, you nailed it. This horse needs to be forward early to give a real to have a shot at some of his best races. We'll wrap up race number 8. I'm going 7-1. Jackson going 8-6. Matt going 5-8, assuming the 5 Sir Grayland stays in. We'll go on to race number 9, a 6 furlong allowance event, non-winners of 1 other than for the 4-year-olds and upward. Picks are on the screen, and we are actually all in unison with our top pick here. I'm going 5-4. Jackson's going 5-9. Matt is also going 5-4. So we're going to start with the number 5, Vital Mind, who I think off that last race where you can see the blue-coated time form pace figures was won by wire-to-wire winner Stiglitz. Vital Mind, did all of was really the only horse that made up substantial ground in that race. Matt, do you think do you think the pace scenario is going to favor him a little bit more? And then obviously I think we're all in agreement that this is a standout on numbers based on that last performance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he needs the lead. I think he's very versatile. He showed that last time out. He ran his race. I mean, he was just second best to a horse, Stiglitz, who's on the up and up, and he ran, A+++ race. I mean, that was not a normal performance for a one other than type of horse. If you look at these PPs, you see his last 2 races, his last 3. I mean, he's just been going on the up and up. This was a stakes caliber run. You got a 107 buyer, Stiglitz. I mean, it was a ridiculous race from him in all good things. I mean, Stiglitz, if he can keep running like that, he's going to be a top sprinter. So Vital Mind, with that in mind, he should be able to get close to the pace. I think there's a couple other speed horses in here. I don't think he's going to be able to get a clear lead if he wants the lead. I don't think he needs it, though. He's always been well regarded. They've been really patient with him. I think he is a single in this race. I really believe that he's a strong single. I know you're not going to get value on the single, but he should be very, very tough in this race.
Yeah, he certainly looks tough. I know my co-host Jackson loves to pick against chalk anytime he can. So anytime he winds up on a favorite, and all 3 of us wind up there with, we all have different handicapping methods. So for all of us to land on this horse certainly feels like a strong opinion. And while, you might not get a great price on the win end, I still think Jackson, and I'll turn to you to add any points and then to talk about the 9. I still think if you single this horse, this sequence is so deep and competitive. I don't think that really diminishes what the payoff is going to be at the final if you do play this pick 5, or this also starts the late pick 4 sequence, just because these races are so competitive. Every race is basically a spread race in here.
Yeah, my counter to that would be this is the most obvious single in the pick 5 by a mile. So he's not going to play like an 8-5 shot in the pick 5. He's going to be singled on a lot of tickets in here. Now, that doesn't mean you're supposed to necessarily try to beat him, because as Matt said, if he runs back to that last race, he's probably going to win. I know it would take a substantial jump up from someone else to beat him in this race, and he's just supposed to get the right setup in here.
Absolutely. And please talk about the number 9, Run Jalen Run, who I believe used to be in the barn of Steve Asmussen, now trained by Steve Manley.
I wish there was a little less speed drawn towards the outside, because I really thought about putting him on top in this race. I thought he ran really well last time on that December 20th race, because that was a race that featured a fast pace. It completely fell apart. Everyone else that finished in the top 4 came from the back half of the field. You look where the other speeds wound up. They were last and second to last. And the horse, it's not like those are, one of them was a big long shot, but the other one was 4-1. So things were expected of that horse, and the pace was so fast he didn't run at all. So I did want to upgrade his that most recent race. He ran well in there. But again, from a trip perspective, I think him being surrounded by speed, both to his inside and his outside, is going to be a problem for him. But if he's able to work out the right kind of trip in here, I wouldn't mind putting some 5-9 exactas in this race.
I like it. I quickly showed the next out speed figures, but you can see the second to last and last horses that finished, who were both up on the pace, to your point. Both came back to improve their buyers, showing that, that they kind of reversed the form of that race. To your point, the pace completely fell apart, and Run Jalen Run held up against a pace that, completely melted down. So I don't hate the pick at all. Matt, I'll go back to you, as both of us picked this 12-1 shot, Hailstorm, in second. This is just one I thought could come from off the pace, but I'd love to hear your thoughts.
Well, I thought that he ran in a tougher race last time out. I think he fits real well in this type of spot here. He's running in conditions here. He was running out of conditions last time. I mean, Speed King, who won the race, he won the Southwest last year. He's very likely to be favored in the 5th season tomorrow afternoon, believe it or not. So you're going to want to watch out for him. And this horse had to take up sharply at the break. It says early bothered. He was bothered. I mean, he had to take up pretty sharply there. And I think it cost him a few lengths right from the opening bell. And with that in mind, I thought he ran a better than looked race coming from off of it. I don't think he would have won the race. I don't even think he would have run second, but he wouldn't have been too far behind the 3rd place horse, and he wasn't. So with that in mind, I think Hailstorm in this race should be in fairly good shape to run well.
I thought the same. You can see here right at the beginning, you can see, because we have the head on and the pan shot, you can see that the number 8 Hailstorm took up shortly after the start. And I'm with you. I thought that trouble was substantial. I like the point that you brought up of this horse running out of condition last time and now goes back into the condition. A little bit of a chilly barn for David Jacobson, but he does have 9 runners in the money. So his horses have been firing, maybe just been on the wrong side of some of those photos. Maybe the break is going to do him some good, and he'll be on the right side once we start up racing again tomorrow at Oaklawn. I do think that that this horse naturally wants to be maybe a little bit more forward, like you showed at Keeneland, 2 starts back, and at Ellis Park 3 starts back. And I do think the trouble definitely cost him significantly. You can see that he still ran his race, finishing off well, but was definitely cost a few lengths last time out at the break. So I did think I think I will be playing some 5-4 exactas in here, hoping that morning line price of 12-1 holds up. Any other horses we think can kind of factor in here? Or, I mean, we all seem in strong agreement that the 5 is clearly far and away the horse to beat.
I would agree with that 100%. He's going to be tough. He's going to be very tough in here. And hey, we've seen crazier things happen than a horse like him lose, but I'm thinking if everything goes as planned, if he runs his race, if somebody else doesn't take a massive bump up in class, he appears as a standout to me.
He sure does to me too. Jackson, I would assume, agrees as well, seeing as this was his top pick. We'll move on from race number 9. I'm going 5-4. Jackson going 5-9. Matt going 5-4 as well. All of us on Vital Mind. Race number 10, another stakes race restricted for the fillies, 4-year-olds and upwards. It's the Bugler Stakes, going 6 furlongs, of course, on the dirt. Picks are up on the screen. I'm going 12-5. Jackson and Matt, similar picks, with the top one in Jackson going 4-10, Matt going 4-5. Jackson, actually, well, Matt, no, we'll throw it to you one more time. Hush It Honey, you and Jackson in agreement here that Hush It Honey is going to get the job done. Winner of 2 straight coming in here, 4 for 6 at Oaklawn as well.
Yeah, she's a runner that just pretty lightly raced, actually very lightly raced for now a newly turned 5-year-old. But one thing I like about her is she runs well fresh. So that's a positive. We know that she can freshen up and be just fine. I thought her last race was very admirable. Of course, her last couple of races, she's run against Open Company, and she's won both last time out off the layoff. I think that she is a mare that continues to go in the right direction. As you mentioned, she likes Oaklawn. She was close to the pace last time, a lot closer than usual. The pace wasn't necessarily that fast, even for a 7-furlong sprint, but she was there. So she's pretty versatile. She's just a hard-knocking mare, and I think she's going to have something to say against this field. Now, I'm not projecting her to run in the Breeders' Cup at the end of the year. I don't think she's quite that good, but she doesn't need to be. I think this is a solid group of runners that are probably minor stakes grade 3 tops type of runners. So I absolutely think a multiple allowance winner like this, especially off that last run, she fits against this field here. And I don't expect her to be 10-1 or anywhere close to it. I think she's going to be a lot lower than that.
Yeah, this is one I gave a close look to. I did opt to go elsewhere, but this is one I certainly respect, one I had as a strong B candidate. Jackson, I'll throw it out to you. Obviously, I think you can excuse the 3-back effort at Churchill, where the stumble at the start and came out of a very live race with Easy Red and Sister Kisses both being next out winners out of that effort. But when you look through those running lines, you look 4-5 back when she ran second and third to Helena's Forte and Holland Ice. Those are very good sprinters in the filly and mare division. You picked this filly, this 5-year-old mare on top as well in here. Anything to add?
No, I echo everything you guys said about her. She makes sense in here, and I'll admit this is a pretty fluid pick for me. I mean, I went through this field, and I think about 8 or 9 of them all look very, very similar. I mean, you can really make a case for the entire field. Pretty much all of them have a number in their last 3 starts that is probably good enough to win. It just really feels like whoever gets the right trip in this race is going to win this race on Friday. And I want to be really aware of what's happening with the tote board when the odds open up, because I just don't want to take too short of a price, because as I said, I just think it's so wide open. I'm hoping we get 10-1, but Matt, if you think the horse might be a little lower than that, then maybe I need to switch it up.
I think so. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I think numbers wise, she's beatable, and she is beatable. Any of them are beatable in here, but I just think the fact that she really likes Oaklawn Park, I think that's going to sway some people in her direction.
Sure.
I think you're spot on with that. You've been razor sharp with all of your. Every time you come on the show, you'll give a pick of the week, and that horse. I think you're 100% for in the money on that one. A couple of wins on there as well, but I always make sure to note those down. I'll go out to the number 12 for my top pick and tap it quick. This is a horse I really like the draw for her. That coupled with Luis Saez, this mare has some early speed. I anticipate her to show some of that, but she can also kind of play the break. She's passed horses in the past successfully. I think Luis Saez, being the aggressive rider that he is going to try and get a little bit forward, but he's going to be able to kind of play the rest of this field. It's a field of 12. There is a lot of other speed or potential early speed in here, and sometimes that can either go to 4 horses are up on the lead, or sometimes nobody wants to send, and you have 1 or 2 horses up towards the front. I know Luis Saez is going to be aggressive out of there. I know where he's going to be early. He's not going to take this mare out of position. He's going to get her in the best spot to win, and I think she might find herself on the front end, and if she does, even if it's in that too wide kind of stalking trip, she might just kind of trip out in a spot like this and just get that nice garden spot sitting right off the pace, might even find herself on the front end. So I like Tap It Quick here. I hope we get every bit of 12-1, as I think she provides some excellent value in here. Coming in off good form, off the poinsettia, going 5.5, which is maybe just a tick or so below what I believe she really wants to do. I think the 6 furlongs is a much better distance for her. I know it's only the half furlong, but I do think it makes a substantial difference. That was a respectable race last time out, but one I wanted to give another look to, and 12-1 is much too good for me to turn down, especially considering the favorable post position draw that she got for Friday. Jackson, I'll throw it to you. The number 10 Marmalade Sky is a horse you picked in second. Another one that you look to those, 2, 3, 4, 5 back buyer speed figures. That's right up there with the rest of this group in terms of what they're running consistently.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much that's the whole angle here. I think you can be a little forgiving of that most recent race at Churchill. Just kind of seemed like nothing. It was just a weird race for Pistol won. I think she paid like $100, and no one else really showed up with their best effort that day. But you go back 2 back, 3 back, 4 back. I mean, those are all horses that are very comparable to the field that she'll be facing on Friday. And she held her own in those spots too. And she's another that, it won't be on the lead, but also won't be too far out of it as well. So if she can work out a trip at 12-1, then yeah, she can make some noise in this race.
She absolutely could. Those trips that she's worked out, as you mentioned, 2, 3, 4, 5 back, even further back on the form, really just last time out was the only time she really didn't get a great kind of run of things. And that race looked like kind of one of those where nobody showed up. As you mentioned, the winner paid over $100 on the win end. So Marmalade Sky, certainly one to give a look to. David Jacobson, Christian Torres team up for that. Matt, we'll go to you as Foie Gras, ridden by Flavian Pratt in here, trained by Michael Maker. Second off the barn switch, but is in great form, having won the last one for Steve Asmussen, and then came right back in a stakes race for Mike Baker.
I've always really liked her since her first career race. I've sort of kept an eye on her, and she just haven't seemed to pull things together back to back to back to back. She just couldn't string races together. But I liked what I saw on the barn change, and maybe that's the key that she needs. Maybe she's going to get better with age here. She's a daughter of Volatile. The Volatiles can do better with time. So I'm sort of taking a swing. I mean, the odds aren't there for us, really. That is not an attractive price by any means. But I didn't think that last race was a fluke, even though she went off at 12-1. I've always liked her. I've always thought she was a good horse. She got the right setup, but there is other pace in here in a large field. And she is facing tougher. She's facing older here now. It was a restricted 3-year-old filly race last time out. But I'm with Jackson on Marmalade Sky. She's actually my third pick in the race. So I do want to note that. It's probably more noteworthy than Foie Gras being my second pick.
Yeah, I agree with Foie Gras in terms of, coming into this race seems to be progressing nicely. The works at Oaklawn January 11th and January 19th obviously stick out as those were really nice bullet efforts. And then the latest was a 3 furlong, almost like a blowout type effort leading into this race on Friday. So clearly coming in here in sharp form, looks to continue that. I really look to that effort 2 back where she closed into a slow pace that day with Eric Asmussen and got the job done, and then came right back to really, duplicate that form and take a step forward in restricted stakes company. You mentioned that was against her own age group. Now she's facing older, but she did beat older 2 back. So hopefully, that she looks at that as a hurdle that she's already cleared. I'm with you though. I don't think the price is anything that I want to take on the win end. I think this filly could certainly win, but I don't want to take a horse really less than 5-1 in a field like this, where you can throw a blanket basically over the entire field, and any of these runners really have a shot.
It's a very good race.
Very good race. Yeah, it should be the most competitive on the weekend. Jackson, if you're a horizontal player, obviously we just talked about Vital Mind in the previous race. It's going to be a big single on a lot of people's tickets. A race like this where you can really make a case for, I would say, probably 10 of the 12 runners as a strong case on the win end. Would this be a race where you maybe look to single a horse and create that separation in the hopes that Vital Mind maybe doesn't get the job done on Friday?
Ideally, yes. I think this is always the type of race where you want to be zigging while everyone else is zagging, because when you're looking at the vast majority of tickets that are going to be bet into the sequence, this is going to be the spreadiest race of them all. So even if you maybe don't have the strongest opinion in here, I always like to just pick 1 or 2, maybe 3, and try to press those up and just hope that I'm right, because I think that's where you're going to really get some separation from the rest of the crowd.
Without a doubt, I'm in complete agreement with you on that. We'll wrap up race number 10 one more time with the picks for our audio listeners. I'm going 12-5, Jackson going 4-10, Matt going 4-5. We'll move on now to the Derby prep, the feature on Friday's card. It's the 1/16 Gr3 Southwest Stakes going at Oaklawn Park for, of course, the straight 3-year-olds. There is a scratch in here of the number 5 litmus test, as I had to go check that one. Picks are up on the screen. I am going 9-7. Jackson's going 6-2. Matt is going 7-9. Jackson, we're actually going to start with you this time. We're going to go with you. You picked a 30-1 on top, so we got to start with you, right? Circle Tap. You think this son of Twirling Candy out of a Tappet mare is going to get the job done on Friday? Go ahead.
Yeah, look, I could totally be reaching here, and I am reaching because this horse is going to be 30-1 for a reason. But as I go through this field in here, I don't know. I was not in love with really any of the short prices in here. The Code might be the most talented of them all, but the circumstances that he won on debut are going to be nothing like what's going to happen on Friday. I mean, that was a 6 furlong race. He was drawn outside. There was no speed in there. It's just going to be so different in this race. And I don't know if I want to take a short price on him as we're watching. I don't even know the name of my horse. He's this one number.
Circle Tap, bro.
Circle Tap.
That's a problem. You don't know the name of your own horse. I don't know the name. I did watch the replay. Look, this is a race where the pace was not very fast, and he did have a little trouble on the turn. And I just like the way he kind of drew off here in the end into that slowish pace. It certainly was not fast that day. And I think he's just a horse that might be getting good as the distances get longer. And there's a lot of speed in here. There's a big field. There's 13 horses. A lot of them want to go.
and he's he's just a fresh face. As I talked about, I look at the other closers in here, and a lot of them just don't do a whole lot for me. I don't know how good that field was. Liberty National, I'll let Matt talk about that one, about the gun runner. But the Smarty Jones, I don't know how good that field was. No one else really seemed to show up that day outside of the Cassie runners. I'm not a fan of the Bob Baffert training here. I think, as I mentioned, Dakota has a lot of questions to answer. This race just feels really ripe for an upset, and I'm hoping the pace heats up enough for Circle Tap to come with one run late. I don't know if he's going to be good enough, but I do know he'll be finishing up in the lane.
Yeah. Look, I'm not gonna poo-poo any 30-1 shot, especially after this horse just got the job done as a favorite. Now it takes a logical step up. As a 3-year-old colt that cost $335,000. I mean, they got to take a shot. If this horse takes a step up, then I certainly hope you cash for big bucks in here. Won't be on any of my tickets, but I hope this one's on some of yours. I might, just because I do respect your takes on here some of the time. I pulled up the last race effort. We didn't cover race number 7, but Rocky Raccoon runs back in there, and Matt, I believe that was your top pick in that race. If we did cover it, I like that horse last time only because there's I think a childhood like either nursery rhyme or like story or something that my dad used to read to me as a kid. So I like that horse based on a pure name play only. But to stick to the Southwest Stakes, we'll go to the number 7 Liberty National. Matt, take it away. I picked this horse in second. You have this horse on top, as our picks are flip-flopped in here. You like this Kenny McPeek trainee.
I do. By the way, I do really like Rocky Raccoon. He's one of the best plays of the day for me. Absolutely needed his first race. Looked totally like a horse that, okay, a little tired first time out. He was routing. He was entered in a sprint, by the way, and then they went to the route because the sprint didn't go because it had gone a week earlier and there wasn't enough horses he wanted to run him. So anyway, that's my take. Since you mentioned him, I got to talk to you about him because
absolutely,
for some reason on this card, I really like Rocky Raccoon. Anyway, going back to there he is. Yeah, I like him a lot. So, but anyway, going back to the Southwest, I like Liberty National. He reminds me of Mystic Dan, like the type of horse that just is getting better as he's getting a little bit older. I didn't think his last run was that bad. I coming up the rail, I think he was a little bit unlucky to lose that day, really, and came with a nice rally down the lane. There's even more pace. I think there's a lot of pace in here. I think he can improve with time. So I'm going to take a shot with him. I just think this horse is one of these horses that's going to get a really good midfield position behind a fast pace. I think he's getting better. I thought his maiden win was terrific, and I think there's a lot of room for him to grow. Maybe he's going to get better even into the next race. Maybe he's a little green. Like he still looks like he's still trying to figure things out, but I like this horse. I think he's very nice.
I certainly respect this horse as I picked this one in second. I like all the points you made. Jackson, I know that maybe your thoughts on the gun runner might be a tad biased because I know you had Chip Honcho in your eventual tourney win as the first leg of the late double. I still don't know how Chip Honcho ended up winning that race. Looked absolutely done at the quarter pole and then managed to come back and re-rally. That was an odd running, but I do agree with Matt. The pace scenario is going to favor Liberty National. I do anticipate this horse to be kind of in that mid-pack range and to kind of make that run as they come for home. So that's certainly what I hope to see. Matt, go in the mile and a 16th. Remind me, this is the first finish line?
No, this is the regular finich line. So the first finish line is all the mile races. All the mile races.
Perfect. Okay. I was 50-50. Yeah, that's right. Keeneland and Oaklawn. I don't know where the finish line is. I won't say the other jockey that also does it. But Liberty National, I do respect the effort last time out in the gun runner. I thought was finishing that nicely. And we know Kenny McPeek by now, especially with these 3-year-olds. He's not going to have them cranked up for a listed stake like this. And he's going to have them continue to get better and continue to build on those previous efforts. And if you're a fan of Jackson's paired up those buyer tops, he has essentially done that and could come back to run really well. I'll go out to my top pick before we go to the maiden breaker and probably one of the most impressive winners of the Oaklawn meet in Decode for Jackson's second pick, the number 9 Strategic Risk. This horse pummeled me last time out. I think would be the only way to say I used Silent Tactic and Baytown Dreamer on my tickets, and this horse broke my heart. blew the doors off that field and won by 4. I really like the way this horse finished. I know it was a relatively slow pace that day, but it's shown two back that this horse can close from off of it, and has just really kind of found that form since going to 2 turns, and has really finished those races off nicely. I want to give this another shot. Mark Cassie's been unconscious at this Oaklawn meet, I think, to say the least, winning at 48%, 11 from 23, 8 more in the money. Javier Castellano again in to ride for this horse's 3rd straight route attempt, and I think this horse is just going the best right now. I don't know that I want this horse, on Derby Day or even in the the Grade 2 Rebel or the Arkansas Derby, but I think right now this is the best 3-year-old that's going to be running in this race. So I want to take strategic risk. I hope that 9-2 sticks. I don't know that it will. I would love to get your guys' thoughts. And Matt, I'll go to you first as you pick this horse in second.
No, I don't think so. I mean, litmus test is out. So
yeah,
that's going to hurt your price on strategic risk. It's going to hurt my price on Liberty National. So I think strategic risk could very well be the favorite in this race. A lot of people like him. And I think he's a very good horse. I like him as well. I think this horse just shows a real nice kick down the lane. I was really impressed with his last 2 races. He got the perfect trip in both races. But even though the pace scenario will be different here, he just has that kick that some of these other horses, they don't have. You see a lot of grinder types. He's got a kick. So when he kicks for home, you're going to see an acceleration from him. The question will be whether he's good enough, and he's got the best running style in racing. This horse can pretty much put himself wherever you need to put him, and he's happy to do that. And when you ask him to go, he just goes. I thought it was a very sharp win last time. Didn't beat that much, really, in my opinion, based on how all the factors. There was a speed bias track, I thought, that week. It played the speed. The pace was not fast. He sat right off a long shot that was going to win no matter how slow he went. That wasn't going to win no matter how slow he went. So he got everything his own way to win this race, but he did do it the right way. And that's the key for me when I'm watching races. It's not always about who you beat. Sometimes it's about you doing it the right way, because you can only run against the horses that you're put up against. So he did it the right way.
Exactly. I couldn't agree more. And you brought up a point on this, how horses had now 2 basically perfect trips back to back, but they've both been in different places on the racetrack. And that's something to me that always stands out. When a horse puts together 1 perfect trip, that's one thing. And if they put together, these stalking trips time after time where they're in the exact same position, that's another. But when you're able to kind of win and blow away the field from different points on the racetrack and set yourself up for success as a racehorse, I always want to pay attention to that. So this is a horse that has done very little wrong in his route. I mean, nothing wrong in his last 2 races, going 2 turns on the dirt, has won by over 13 lengths combined. So this is one I have to take going back. And I know we've referenced Vital Mind now a couple times. This is a horse I'm going to single on another ticket and try and beat Vital Mind, because I do think that with, as heavy of a lean as Vital Mind's going to be, I think this is as likely of a winner in my eyes for a race in this sequence that we're covering. Jackson, any opinions on that? And then talk about the number 2, Decode. You're muted, sir. You were on like a 3-week win streak with that one. Oh man.
I was just saying, I didn't believe you when you said you had Baytown Dreamer on your tickets last time. I don't believe you at all that you had 9-1.
I'll find the ticket.
Oh, I need to see that ticket, please.
Okay.
No, I don't mind the horse at all. I would have him 3rd, and we've talked about before, as Matt kind of alluded to, you can only control so much. You can only control who you can't control is in the race. You can't necessarily control how fast they go up front. But if they are going to go that slow, I want to see you open up the way he did, because everyone else behind him that also had a good kick went just as slow as he did. He came home with the fastest final quarter of anyone in that field, and he was on top of the pace. So at least he did have that going for him. I don't expect him to be as close as he was in that race, but there's other speed. He can finish a little bit. He makes a lot of sense. As far as the code goes, yeah, I did not expect to have him in second here, just for all the reasons I kind of alluded to earlier. The circumstances that he achieved that victory are thrown out the window. This is a completely different race. It's against a way better field. There's way more pace. He's drawn inside instead of being out in the clear where he didn't have a straw in his path last time. Just things are completely different. But with that being said, he was so impressive that day. Seems like he has a ton of ability, and if he's able to, overcome those things, he could be a very, very serious racehorse. I don't think he's going to be any kind of playable price with a scratch of Litmus Test, but he's one I'm very intrigued by for sure.
Off that last buyer speed figure, obviously he looks like with Litmus Test out, looks like the standout almost. You can look at Butane as well, ran a 92, who you see drawn right to the outside. Matt, what are your thoughts on the number 2 Decode? Obviously, I agree with Jackson on probably not going to be a playable price trying something new like this for the first time, and it is a huge step up versus a group that is certainly on the improve and might prove very, very tough. The road to the Derby through Oaklawn is no easy one. But what are your thoughts on this very, very impressive maiden breaker for Ray Ashford?
So I really like the horse. I don't really like the race for him in this particular scenario. I think it's a lot to ask of him. He doesn't strike me as a horse that really is going to be best going a mile in a 16th, 2 turns. I think he's a sprinter. Personally, I get it, right? It was a buyback by Tom Durant for $775,000. You've got this horse that really spun heads with just a fantastic race. I mean, he did nothing wrong. There was nothing to dislike about it. Everything was very impressive. The way he showed natural speed, he did it while he was relaxed. He kicked away when he was asked. He was totally professional, switched leads correctly at every point in which he was supposed to, and he was geared down, and his gallop out was good. He wasn't really that tired after the race. You have to like everything about that race. Anybody who doesn't like that race, I don't know what you're watching if you don't like that race. It was a fantastic effort from him, and it was really just an eye popper. But I just wonder, even though he's got a great mind, he's uber talented. I just think this is asking a lot of him. I'm not so sure he's going to be best routing. Sometimes horses, they can go a mile, even a mile and a 16th when they're sprinters and do okay. But I feel like in a race like this, there's not that much room for error. And again, it's a lot to ask of this horse. He doesn't strike me as the kind that can win like that, immediately stretch out and run a huge, huge race. I just feel that maybe he's better at one term. I hope I'm proven wrong in the sense that I'd love to see a superstar out of this horse, but I think he's a play against in here.
I'm with you. To me, this is an absolute play against. Again, if this horse turns out to be an absolute monster, then I'd happily, be wrong, because if he replicates and improves upon that maiden breaking performance, I mean, we are in for an absolute wow effort on Friday. That being said, yeah, it looks like the mom was all sprint on the dirt, and this horse seems to be maybe best around one turn, but I would honestly, even with the scratch of Litmus Test, I think it's possible Decode maybe drifts up a little bit in price, or you get that 3-1. I think there's just other ways that some people might go in here. Jackson, was that a reaction, or are you just shivering because you're cold?
No, he's going to be a favorite here.
Okay.
It was too flashy, and people are going to go nuts for him.
Okay.
Good.
I respect that.
Good.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I will happily take that if this horse is favored. Real quick, we should touch on the other Bob Baffert runner that's going to be in here, because obviously Baffert doesn't ship out here for nothing. Butane, owned by Zidane Racing Stable, $1.1 million. Comes in here off a second place finish in the San Vicente behind So Happy. Do either of you, and I'll go to Matt first, give this runner any chance to stretch out? Do you think this horse is here as a main Derby contender, or maybe just the flight buddy to Litmus Test, and now the only one kind of left in this field from the Baffert barn?
So they've always pointed this horse for this race. A couple weeks ago, he was the name that they listed. Litmus Test, I think, was really an insurance entry in case something happened with Butane and they wanted to have a horse in the race. So they've always pointed this horse for this race. Litmus Test is just fine. He's going to wait for the San Felipe or maybe even the Rebel if they decide. But it sounds like from what Bob Baffert said earlier this morning, maybe the San Felipe with Litmus Test. So no harm, no foul there. I would answer your first question saying that I do think he will stretch out. I think he will be fine going a mile and a 16th. He might even enjoy it. But I don't necessarily believe that he is one of Bob's best horses. Maybe he doesn't need to be to win this race. But I don't think he's one of his best 3-year-olds. And I feel that he's a horse that's maybe second tier in the line. Again, maybe that might not matter with Bob's large arsenal of very strong Derby contenders. But he's a horse that tries to lug in. He was easily outworked by Desert Gate in a workout going 6 furlongs a couple weeks ago. Keep this in mind, too. I'm not always huge on patterns on what type of horses trainers send to races, but it can work different ways. But I will say this, Bob Baffert in the 2 years I've been here has sent Winstock and Gaming to this race. And both times they got bet, and both times they ran poorly, and they were not his top 3-year-old. Mm-hmm. So if I'm waiting for a Bob Baffert, top 3-year-old to run here in Arkansas, it's probably going to be in the Rebel and the Arkansas Derby. I think he's got a shot, but he's another one like Dakota. I'm going to try to play against him.
I'm 100% with you. Jackson, I'd love your thoughts. Obviously, litmus test not going to end up in this spot. Matt, you called Butane as the runner for the Southwest when we saw you at Santa Anita as well. And that was before the pre-entries came out for that. You just said, if I had to guess, it's going to be Butane from the Baffert barn. So clearly, you know the West Coast runner as well as you obviously grew up out here. Jackson, your thoughts on the number 3 Butane for Bob Baffert before we move on to our last race?
Yeah, I'd just like to add that I actually heard differently. I heard the plan was to go to Gulfstream last week in the Holy Bowl, and they couldn't get a plane, and that's why he didn't go there. And they could get a plane to Arkansas. Now, this isn't a huge, it's not a huge switch up or anything. They were always going to ship him. It's just something noteworthy. And as you guys said, it feels like he's going to take a lot of money in here just because of the connections. And I don't know. I'm not sold on him. He beat Falcon Jet at Del Mar. Falcon Jet is definitely not one of Baffert's better runners. Then he came back in hopeful, and I know he was second to Ted Noffey, but it wasn't like he was anywhere, like he'd never threatened Ted Noffey, and everything behind him that day, the form just hasn't held up that well. And it seems like he's going to be overbet because, he finished second to the 2-year-old champ. He got trounced by him though. And then he came back in San Vicente and he ran okay in there. I just feel like those races he's been running in are not nearly as tough as the one he's going to be facing on Friday. And he's going to be bet like he's the second choice in here. I just don't see him deserving of taking that much money.
I completely agree with that point. I honestly, I also look towards the jockey booking. Flavien Prat rode this runner in the hopeful. I would assume that he would have had the option to run here. He opted for, I guess, Rancho Santa Fe or his jockey agent. But he rides a lot for Zidane for those top horses that they have. Of course, for Baffert as well. I thought that was maybe a little bit interesting. This is a horse I'm absolutely playing against. We won't take any more time on this race. Wrapping it up for the audio listeners, I am going 9-7. Jackson's going 6-2. Matt is going 7-9. We'll move on now to race number 12. We're going a mile and an eighth. Starter allowance, $12,500. Our picks are up on the screen. Sorry. I'm going 6-2. Jackson is going 6-2. We're in lockstep there. And Matt is going 2-12. Matt, we're going to start with you with the number 2 Bright Spark, who Jackson and I both like in second and both like, at least for me, as a win candidate. This one comes in here, winner of 3 straight and 6 of the last 7. Jackson, go ahead and hit it. But Matt, I'll go to you for your thoughts on the number 2 Bright Spark.
Yeah, I mean, you have to scratch your head because last year at Oaklawn, he was running against really nice starter allowance horses and running very well. Took a bunch of time off. He's in for $5,000. It's like, why is this horse in for $5,000? I mean, this is insane. It's like you feel like, he's for sale because it's like you have a piece of jewelry that you think's worth $100,000 and they're putting it up for $5,000. And you're like, what is this? Like, this has to be some catch. And he won for fun. And he beat 2 next down winners, as you can see by the italics there. Then he came back and they bumped him up in price, but they put him in for $10,000. And you're like, geez, like why is this horse in for $10,000? He seems better than that. And he won for fun. I mean, you couldn't have won any easier. So whatever issues he may have, clearly he's running through them, or at the very, very least, they're not problematic enough to cause him to slow down. Maybe he can't run those 90 buyers that we saw in 2024, but he can sure run a good race anyway. Kevin Martin here, he's the trainer. He's a trainer from Louisiana that does not have a big string of horses. And Gennaro Garcia isn't always the easiest to improve off of. Probably doesn't need to be competitive in this race. I guess that'd be my only concern, would be a lower percentage barn here at Oaklawn. Are they able to keep this horse in good form? But if the answer is yes, then he should be right there. And I like that they're protecting him in this race.
I absolutely like the vote of confidence that they're protecting this horse. Something that's interesting that the viewers should note is that this horse was claimed in his previous 2 races, but did not switch trainers until this last claim. So it was claimed out of Gennaro Garcia, but ended up right back in the same barn just for a different ownership group. And Gennaro, again, moved this horse forward. I don't know why this horse was in for a tag. I remember this horse last winter at Oaklawn was, winning those races and doing things really nicely. I didn't see that race at Indy, but clearly got the job done for fun. Came right back at Oaklawn where he loves it and won here. He's 3 for 4 at the track. Jackson, you picked this horse in second. Anything to add here?
I'm actually 7-11 in this race. I think those are my picks from the previous race.
They sure are. So I'll go ahead and change that, which doesn't make much sense. But I had to mess up somewhere in this show, so that makes sense. We'll go to the number 7 in Nameless. Certainly has a name. We learned this one when I bet this runner at Del Mar last time out on November 9th. And I was pretty sad at that result. But Jackson, you like the number 7 Nameless on top for Sean Williams here.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this horse to run back, and he's been on my horse to watch list ever since the most recent race. Now, I didn't expect him to be out here at Oaklawn, and I did not expect him to be going against his tough field, but nonetheless, he's here, and I have to bet him back because I've been waiting for 3 months now. That most recent race, I think, if you watch it back, was really, really good, and it's just the definition of a pace collapse. There were 4 horses stretched across the track, setting a really fast pace for about 6 furlongs. And they're just battling. He's right in the thick of it. He's in the worst spot possible. He's between. He's kind of right behind them all. It's just a really uncomfortable spot. And he actually gets the best of all the speed horses in there. Gets a challenge at the quarter pole from the 9, who's just in the perfect spot right here. Puts away the challenge of the 9, who was favored. And then finally, the horse way in the back that is just sloping along, getting the best trip of all, comes and loops them all. And this is him. Yeah, he's in between. He gets his head in front right here. I mean, he just had to work so hard.
In between a 4-horse duel, yeah.
Yeah, he's just working hard every step of the way in a 4-horse duel in a really fast pace. I thought this was a massive effort. I'm not surprised at all that he needed a little bit of extra time to recuperate from this effort because he ran so huge in there. And it's, the number came back a little slower just because they came home slow because the early pace was so fast. But if you look at his PPs, he's run plenty of numbers that put him right there in a mix against the likes of these horses. And it's not like he's a need to lead type. He can win from off the pace as well. He can be just as effective from an off the pace trip. So if he's going to be 15-1 here, I think that's a really good price. And I'm excited about this horse.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to talk you off of that. Definitely held up on a pace that was wicked and did all of the heavy lifting in there. You mentioned had a lot of time off between races, but comes back in a very salty spot, but does come back protected first off the claim for Sean Williams. So Luis Saez getting the jockey mount. I anticipate this one to be forward. Actually meets a common runner out of that race, oddly enough, at Del Mar in You're My Style.
That came back to win. Yeah.
That came back to win it. Absolutely. So that's certainly one to pay attention to coming back first off the claim. First start at Oaklawn. I don't know if you guys heard that noise, but my cat just fell off a chair. Anyway,
the other thing I'll just add real quick is over the summer, he finished a length behind Money Run when Money Run got a better trip. Money Run's 2-1 in here. Nameless is 15-1. That's a really big discrepancy in the odds.
That is a huge one. Good to point out there, as they have a common running line where Nameless was actually favored in that event as well. My top pick is the number 6, My Noble Knight. I want to show the replay in here. Money Run came back to win, or ended up winning that race going the 9 furlongs. My Noble Knight was favored, and we're going to watch the number 4 horse. I just want you to watch him. I skipped too far ahead. But I want to watch you going into the first turn. He's this horse that is 4 wide. And then he continues that on the far turn, as he is also about 3 or 4 wide. He was 3 to 4 wide the entire trip on the backstretch. I mean, he was out of gas coming for home. He was favored in there. I do think he fit versus that group. He just got an absolutely abysmal trip that I don't think many horses would be able to win from. I think he's absolutely a bet back off of that effort. His 2-turn efforts have been really strong. Obviously, you go back to the summer at Saratoga. The 95, I'll go ahead and I don't even want to count that. That was a 5-horse field out of the Wilson chute. I don't trust anything that comes out of there other than Raging Torrent getting to the winner's circle in the Met Mile. But you go to the 9 furlong, the 8.5 furlong efforts at Churchill and at Oaklawn Park last May. Those are some strong efforts. And this horse clearly loves it here, 2 for 4, and has run really strongly going around the 2 turns. This is a horse I absolutely need to bet back. I liked him going into that last effort where he just had really no shot going around there. I think you're going to get the 5-1 this time, maybe a tick below at 4-1, 9-2. I would still absolutely take that versus a group that he was favored against last time, comes right back in here in the exact same spot. I'm hoping for a better trip from Joel Rosario, and this is one of my stronger plays in the sequence. I'll certainly have a win bet. If I was playing in the contest, this would be kind of my my last push to try and make a move in here. Matt, I'll go to you next to the number 12 money run, who is likely going to be your favorite, trained by Peter Miller in here. What did you like about this runner? Got the job done last time, going wire to wire with Ramon Vazquez, who sticks aboard today.
Yeah, so he's going to be on the lead again. He doesn't draw a great post, but I'll say this. He didn't draw a great post last time. He was able to clear off and win, and he's pretty quick. I mean, for a router anyway. He's not a sprinter, but he's pretty fast. I mean, he's faster than most average speed routers. So I think he can get the lead again, and I think he can get Brave out there. I don't think that last race is a fluke. The only problem is he's got the most vulnerable running style there is, which is a need the lead horse. The reason it is because you can only win going one way. But more importantly, other horses can break your race, or they can make your race if you take back. I think he's the quickest horse. I think he's going to be going out there setting decent fractions. He's proven he can keep going when he gets that lead. And I'm not really concerned if he goes too fast. He just needs to get out there and get in a good rhythm. And if he does, he's going to be going fast enough to where he's going to keep going. But that's really the question mark. I don't necessarily need him to run back to a 93 to win my bet. If I'm betting on him to win, I just need him to run somewhere close to that within a few lengths, and he should be fine. So he's going to be my pick in here, or my second pick, I should say. He's going to be my second pick.
I like it. I mean, yeah, if Ramon Vazquez is equally as aggressive as he was last time from the 11 post and is that aggressive from the 12 or maybe the 11 or 10 post again in here, I understand, what you said at the beginning where, you don't love the post, but it almost kind of forces the hand of a horse that needs to go forward. So a guy like Ramon Vazquez, who I know you're familiar with, obviously calling a lot of the races, all the races. Ramon Vazquez is a guy who's going to get his horse forward out of the gate, and he's going to be aggressive. He's going to get the horse in the best spot. So I would anticipate money run getting to that exact same position again, getting to the lead. And I mean, if he gets clear early, he's shown that he can go fast and still hang on late. He just kind of gets brave on the front end. So he's a favorite that you should certainly respect in all your horizontals. I might not have picked him in the top two. Jackson, I want to get your thoughts. He's going to be on my horizontal tickets. What are your thoughts if you were a horizontal player here?
I would be trying to beat him in here just because I think there's more speed than there was last time, and specifically the horse drawn right inside of him is very quick as well and probably has one way to go, as does a horse like Gasoline, as does, Eastside Cool. I think a lot of the horses drawn out wide all have the same style and they want to go forward. So if money run's going to be favored, I'm going to try to beat him, but I certainly understand the case for him.
Yeah, no doubt. I do think, you bring up a good point. There are some horses to the inside that, have some early gas. Gewürztraminer as one of them. I think I accidentally learned that was, I think it's a wine, I want to say.
It is.
Yeah. I saw that on a bottle, like at the store, getting something like going grocery shopping. I've learned so much going grocery shopping about names of horses than I have from basically anything else. Eastside Cool definitely has some early speed to him and is able to be forward. So Jackson, you bring up a good point. I do think Ramon Vazquez and money run can be the speed of the speed if they really gun early. I'll actually go to you, Jackson, as Gewürztraminer is your second pick in this race. So take us home.
No, I loved him last time, and he did not run a single step in there, and I have absolutely no idea what happened. I just think I wanted to give him maybe one more chance if he can get back that form 2 and 3 back. I mean, those are races. I know they came on the grass, but he's also run well in the dirt before. Those races 2 and 3 back are plenty good enough to win. Just got to refine that form.
Absolutely. You got to refine that form. But if he does, this horse has had some success at Oaklawn, had a couple wins here going back to last season when you guys raced here. We'll wrap up race number 12. I'm going 6-2, Jackson 7-11, and Matt 2-12. That is the pick 5 sequence. We don't have pick 5 tickets for you, but Jackson, I'll go to you first. If you were going to play a pick 5 ticket this Friday on the Southwest card at Oaklawn, who's the horse you're keying around? Who's the horse you're trying to beat?
I'd be keying the horse in the last race, Nameless. He's going to be 15-1, and I'd be trying to get alive to him for probably 5 figures because he's the sequence is that tough. And if I'm right about the horse, it's really going to blow it up. As far as trying to beat someone, I guess it would be trying to beat Decode. I know I picked him second, but he seems like the horse that a lot of people are going to lean on in this sequence, along with the horse we talked about in that second leg. But I would be trying to beat Decode.
Okay, trying to beat Decode in the Southwest and leaning on Nameless at a huge price in double digits. Matt, I'll phrase the same question to you. No pick 5 tickets today, but if you're a horizontal ticket player, who are you going to key your sequence around, and what favorite are you going to try and beat?
Well, I'd key my ticket like a lot of people. I think Vital Mind is the horse you got to key. If you really like a horse, I know, he's a favorite. I know you're not, and I like Jackson's approach. Key someone you really like that's a price. That's the way you're going to make money. But you can make money doing this too if you can find some prices along the way in the other legs. So I like Vital Mind. If you really like a horse, you really think they should gallop if they run their best race, then he's the horse I want to key. Definitely want to try to beat East Side Cool in the last race. He is a horrendous favorite. This horse won for $10,000 last time. He went 151 for 1.1 miles and got a ridiculous 83 buyer, which isn't like there's no way you're in an 83 buyer. He's a total play against here. And Randy Morrissey's a good trainer. I mean, he's done a good job with this horse, but horrible favorite, totally play against. I agree with Jackson. I'd play against Decode. I wouldn't use him anywhere. And I think that with that in mind, you can look for some prices along the way.
100% agree with a lot of what you said there. Mainly my top play against is going to be Decode. So to any of the listeners, all 3 people on this show do not like Decode. Go ahead and sprinkle a little bit to win on Decode.
Kiss of death.
But yeah, it's the kiss of death. But no, realistically, that's the horse you should bet against. You're going to be taking a short price on a horse doing something for multiple things for the first time, stretching out and facing winners. That's a huge ask. Yes, that win was impressive, but that's the reason I'm going to try and play against that horse. I'm with you though, Matt. I'm going to key everything around Vital Mind. That's going to be the main single in a lot of these tickets. I'll single strategic risk on a backup ticket just because that's probably my second strongest opinion. And I think while that horse might go off as the co-second choice or co-favorite or the second choice, by a tick or two, that's another horse I think is a very clear standout, at least in my eyes, especially with the scratch of Litmus Test in that spot. I'm with you on the play against on East Side Cool. I mean, you jumped up 42 buyer speed figure points in a $10,000 claimer in a relatively slow time. I didn't really understand a lot of where that speed figure came from. So I'm with you playing against that horse. It's going to be an extremely competitive and fun sequence to play. I'm excited Oaklawn's back. Jackson, you, myself, Noah Maher have been texting that we miss Oaklawn, and that's not even to kiss ass or anything like that. Oaklawn's just a fantastic racing product when you guys are racing. I mean, we saw through this field, the shortest field was a field of 12 or 11, I believe. And I mean, that should speak for itself. So this was the late pick 5. Matt Dinerman, track announcer at Oaklawn, and of course, friend of ours. Thank you for joining us late night out at Oaklawn. So please get some rest, and we will see you on the mic tomorrow at Oaklawn Park. Welcome back to the racing.
Really glad to be back. Thanks for having me once again, guys. And we got a busy week in store, so we're ready to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Busy weekend. Jackson, busy weekend for you too. But I hope that you crush your bets as well out at Oaklawn Park if you play on Friday.
Thank you very much.
All right. For our special guest, Matt Dinerman, and my co-host, Jackson Muniz, I'm Ryan Anderson. Thanks for watching the Gallop Out. We will see you guys later. Take care.